Hey guys, what is going on today? Bojo here, and as you guys can tell by the title, it is time for the third annual Stanley Cup Playoffs in NHL 18. So before I go into detail of what the Stanley Cup Playoffs are, if this is your first time around here, make sure you guys go down to that like button down below. Make sure to leave a like, and let's get that hype going for the Stanley Cup Playoffs this year. Now, as I mentioned, this is the third year in a row that we are going to be conducting this tournament. However, I'm not the one who came up with this idea. 2 years ago, Don't Be Sad 20 or Lucas came up with the idea to conduct a Hut-style tournament that took the current NHL teams that are in the playoffs and do like an all-time team build tournament around those players. So last year, I was the one to host the tournament, and once again, I have the privilege of hosting the tournament this year. And honestly, the rules that we set last year are pretty much going to be the exact same again. So let me explain to you guys how this is going to work. Each of the 16 participants, which are going to conduct of your favorite NHL YouTubers and Twitch streamers or just voices in the community, are going to be randomized to one of the 16 teams currently in the playoffs. Once that person gets the team that they are randomized to, they are then going to be required to build an all-time lineup in Hockey Ultimate Team. Now, this can include current players on the team, past players on the team, prospects who might have been drafted or have not even played a game in the NHL yet for that club. As long as the player they plan to use on their team has been property of that team at one point during their NHL career, they are fair game to use in this tournament. Now, like last year, there's only going to be one major restriction for the team building, and that's going to be your team overall cap, which means the total overall of all of your players cannot exceed 1,600, meaning that you take the number, the overall number of the Hut card, you add all of them together, and as long as that total is 1,600 or lower, your team is good to go for the tournament. Now, like last year, goaltenders are not going to count toward this total, but you may be asking yourself, Joe, what about Evo players and the new Stanley Cup cards that are going to be coming out in a couple of days? Since Evos and Stanley Cup Edition cards may upgrade as you progress through the playoffs, the one change that I'm going to enact this year is that you're not going to actually be allowed to remove an SCE card or an Evo card from your lineup after their very first upgrade. If they get an upgrade throughout the entire playoffs, they must remain on your team at all times. If you wish to make a lineup change, say you want to change another player on your team that's not an Evo card, they can be a special card, but as long as they're not an Evo or a Stanley Cup Edition card, you can interchange the lineups. However, with that change, you still must adhere to the 1,600 cap limit. So with the possibility of your Evo cards getting upgrades, you might want to build your team accordingly, so you might have a couple of extra spots available for those Evo upgrades if you wish. And also, just a quick underlying rule about these changes: as long as your cap is under 1,600 and you're getting the Evo upgrades, you can still make changes to your team as much as you guys want. But if that Evo upgrade puts your entire cap over 1,600, then you have to adhere to the 1,600 rules. But as long as you keep your lineup exactly the same for when you started the tournament and you're getting the Evo upgrades, your team is fair to use even if the cap is over 1,600. So pick your Evos and your Stanley Cup Edition cards wisely. There's also no restrictions on the amount of synergies that your team can have. The more you can get, the better. And so for the series rundown, for round number 1, we're going to be doing a best of 3. Round number 2, we're going to be doing a best of 3. And the conference finals, we're going to change from last year. We had a best of 5. We're also going to do that as a best of 3. And then for those 2 lucky guys that make it all the way to the Stanley Cup finals, that one is going to be a best of 5 series. So without further ado, let me introduce this year's competitors and participants in this year's Stanley Cup Playoffs. On the Xbox One side of things, you're going to have yours truly. We're also going to have World Gaming's Bones on Demand, Henrique, The Real Sykes, Nuge TV, last year's winning champion, the Stanley Cup champion Brian Stormed, Vero, Man of the Rit, Chisel, Dabro, Landercog, 2E24, KJ, Tactics HD, Terrible One, and Pogi. Now that's on the Xbox One side of things. If we actually end up getting enough people, maybe 8 possibly on the PS4 side, then we'll actually conduct this tournament starting at round number 2. But at this point, we only have 4 competitors who are going to be participating in the PlayStation 4 side of things, so they're actually going to wait all the way until the conference finals. So Pack Daddy, Don't Be Sad, The Auction House, and TDI hopefully will be participating in the PS4 side, but I'm obviously just going to be focusing in on the Xbox One side of things. Make sure you guys are following Twitter down below for any updates on the PS4 side of the bracket. But if there are some guys on YouTube, on Twitter, or on Twitch that you guys follow in their PS4, make sure to leave their name down below. We'll see if we can get that PS4 bracket filled up all the way and get a full 16-man squad. So we've gone over the rules, we went over the series breakdowns, and now it's time to show you guys exactly which player got which team and which matchups you guys are going to be seeing in round number 1 of the Stanley Hut Playoffs. So I did a list randomizer. As you guys will see, I basically took everybody in the list and the whole entire NHL teams. We threw them into a list, and then obviously we matched up player and team in that list randomizer. So in the Western Conference, you're going to have the Nashville Predators taking on the Colorado Avalanche, me versus Tactics HD. The Winnipeg Jets taking on the Minnesota Wild, Bones on Demand versus Pogi. The Vegas Golden Knights taking on the LA Kings, the terrible one going up against Real Sykes. And then the Anaheim Ducks taking on the San Jose Sharks, Udabro versus KJ. In the Eastern Conference, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning going up against the New Jersey Devils, Henrique versus Vero. The Boston Bruins versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, Tugi24 against Nuge, so that should be a very good series. Tugi does in fact get his hometown Boston Bruins. The Washington Capitals up against the Columbus Blue Jackets, Ho Chisel versus Landercog. And then finally the Pittsburgh Penguins going up against the Philadelphia Flyers. Brian Storm gets Pittsburgh this year, going up against Man of the Rit. So those are the matchups, guys. Those are the rules for the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Like I said, if you followed it last year, it should be a very, very exciting tournament. Everybody's link to their either channel, their Twitch, or whatever their main homepage is, it will be down into the description. Make sure you guys go follow them on their respective social media accounts so that you guys can stay updated on when and where their videos will be appearing, or their streams might be appearing. Some of these guys might want to stream their games. Some of the guys will be recording them onto YouTube. I know Pogi, for an example, always does a really, really great article on his website. So if you guys definitely make sure to follow him if you want to stay updated with the bracket. But like I said, all their links will be down below, because you never know when a video of round number 1's going to pop up or when they're going to be streaming their game. So make sure you guys go down below, follow everybody, and check them out. Other than that, there's pretty much nothing else to it. I'm very, very excited. I will be bringing you guys my Nashville all-time team build hopefully within the next couple of days. I'm going to wait a little bit. We're going to wait a little bit to create our teams. We might wait until like the first couple of games of round number 1 are done so that we can actually have the opportunity to put some of those Stanley Cup edition cards onto our teams. So we might wait maybe till the weekend, maybe till Monday, to show you guys our full lineups, and we'll see what cards come out for the playoffs. So stay tuned for that, guys. Other than that, thank you for watching, and please support this tournament on social media. Hopefully we're going to be getting EA Sports to give us some social support on these tournament games, and it should be a very, very exciting tournament. It was very fun to do last year. Everybody seemed to have a very, very good time, and hopefully we will be able to recreate that this year. So thank you guys for watching. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe as always. Follow everybody down below in the description. Make sure to open that description up and follow every single person on that list, because you don't want to miss any action. There's some really good players in this game. There's some really entertaining guys on this game, and a lot of really, really good Hockey Ultimate Team players in this tournament for sure, so you don't want to miss it.